The same as tipping, I guess, in that case. He's probably just doesn't have the time to do it. So
He's what?
essentially, it's more or less like a tip in that case, I guess, because it's pretty much the same thing, I guess. Let's go firing range, I guess. Play some firing range.
Okay.
1v1s.
Wingman R9?
Yeah, sure. For my,
I'm bad with Wingman.
My Gar 9.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unfortunately, we are gonna be pro players. We're gonna have to be good with any gun.
No, I like to play Wingman R9 and firing. I'm just calling it. Your Wingman is insane. Mine is ass.
Well, there's only one way to get really better at shooting. You shoot more.
Exactly.
Ultimately, this...
Remember you told me Wingman is not the gun you should pick.
Yes, that is true, because Wingman is a gun that where people have the option to take something else over it. They should, if they feel really comfortable. Like so, it's the matter of, do you care about the results? So do you care about, like, if you die? If you're only picking it just to have fun because you like the weapon, then there's nothing wrong with picking Wingman.
I mean, if I engage, but if I start with a Wingman, if I open with it, it's not a good idea. But if I open with another gun and he's cracked in one shot, then taking out my Wingman works fine.
I see.
Because I'm definitely hitting 2 out of the 5 shots.
Well, yeah, but the idea is that the Wingman, with every single shot that they are spraying or hitting with shotguns and you're not hitting, it is exponentially harder. So yeah. And the thing that I was referring to with the strafes, you have strafes on hold, not toggle, right?
Yeah, purposely.
Why do you strafe like this? Why does it look like this?
I don't know.
Like, why do you hold it for so long and then like crouch and walk with it and then do that? Why not just... That is what crouch spamming is for. It's not to...
Yeah, I know.
It's not to crouch and then hold it for a second or two and then uncrouch, because you lose all your movement speed. But if you do it quickly, then that doesn't lose you anything. Ready, go.
Contact with hostile.
Another thing, the only kind of strays that you do are long strays. Every strafe that you do is this. Okay, it looks like this. On my screen against you, it looks like this. However,
yeah, but this doesn't make a lot, right?
It actually does so much more than just doing this.
Really?
Than just doing this and then this. And
but this is nothing, no? This is like almost on the same place, right?
Yes. However, the idea is that you mix it up, long with short. You don't do only long or only short. There's no point to just stand still and just do this. But there's also no point to just go around shooting like this. And also, that is actually worse than doing this. Because ultimately, what you end up doing is, you're moving in a straight line, so all they have to do is just move their aim in a single direction. If they predict or simply react to the direction that you're going, they're gonna hit their entire clip and you will die. So, in order to avoid that, you want to mix it up. You want to go short into long, short, short into long, short, long, short, 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 long. You don't want to do it only long or only short. It's supposed to be erratic so that you don't repeat the same strafe.
Even on this head glitch here, yeah?
On anything, any 1v1. So let's go close.
I'm gonna see if there's loot here.
This.
Okay.
Close and try. Ready, go.
Hostile close.
Like, you see how
I fucked up. I fucked up. I fucked up.
That's fine. You see
Yeah.
how I strafe? When I strafe, it's not like just a single direction. It's like it's basically it's a little bit like a circle, you know? It's a little bit like a circle. You're moving into the
I don't know why
direction,
it's
and then
so
you
hard for me to press A, D, W, S, and control all and spam all those buttons. Why is it like I slow down when I crouch? It's like I slow down when I crouch.
If you slow down for like a 0.5 second, that's no big deal. But because you simply hold it down and then do this, that is not a good idea. Like doing this, not a good idea. However, doing this, it makes your strafe significantly more unpredictable. Like this one.
Yeah. That literally means I need to work on my finger control.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
there is
it's
lot
like,
to work on. Like, simply being able to shoot at the general direction of enemies does not constitute any skill at all. Because even a controller can just beam.
It's really hard for me to like. I can do this during a fight without trouble, and also crouch like 1 or 2 times without trouble. But doing like doing this and this at the same time, it's like what the fuck, like.
I mean,
I can't do it quick, like the crouch. I can do this quick, but
so if other,
I can do twice to the side, right? Crouch and twice left, like this.
Well, no, because then I can.
Yeah, it's the same.
Enemy down.
Exactly, because it's regular.
It's literally. It doesn't matter if you change your height, you're still moving in the same direction. So it doesn't actually change anything. If I just shoot and move my crosshair a tiny bit, it essentially it changes nothing as to how the like you're trying to add evasion to yourself. By moving well, you're trying to add bullet evasion, essentially. That's what that is. You're not Apex is not a game of who can tank more damage. It's who can dish out more damage while taking the less amount of damage. So the lesser damage that you get, the more you have an opportunity. If you tank 190 damage in every single exchange, even though you kill a guy, I mean, you're probably just gonna die after it. They're just gonna call like, yeah, this guy's won, and just run you down. If you tank only 80 damage and this guy dies, I mean, you're at 120 HP. You're pretty much able to fight another fight if you're able to actually win a secondary fight at that HP. But that is obviously how well mechanically are you like versed. Now, mechanics include that ability to do that, the ability to move and crouch while strafing. So every fight that I watch, when you move around, you move in a straight line, and then you try to get into cover, and then you go for another straight from the cover, and then you walk out, and then you walk forward, and then you walk with your gun out while you're walking with your gun out. And then you swing like this. Yeah. But then if anybody at all is ready for it, you will take either equal or more amount of damage. The way you fight is not by walking around and just peeking like this. That's not like a battlefield like this. You cannot do that. In this game, the difference is you play from cover to cover, and then you swing from the other cover to the other side. Swing means you slide into that. Whether you take out your hands in that moment and then take out your weapon mid-flight, or you take out your weapon before your slide, doesn't matter. But
you don't slide with the weapon out, right?
Well, you can slide with your weapon out, but you don't. Like the way that you generally peek and push people is you just slow peek like this. You just slow peek into them like this. When you slow peek into them like this, it's exceptionally easy for them to just beam you back. It's just super easy. It's like it's the equivalent of just shooting any gold level player, because they move the same way. But if you want to be a pro player,
movement like a bot, like a controller player.
Exactly.
Looks like a controller. It looks like I'm a controller player because I'm too lazy or like not able to crouch spam properly, right?
Well, it's not just.
That's why people
not just
think I'm controller player when they see that.
Yes, because I thought you're also controller player at the beginning. Because the way that you were approaching it was you're just moving linearly. You're hoping that you're gonna beam them to death more than they're gonna beam you for that, and that's basically how.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
That's not how this game works. In order to both beat masters and be on par with other pro players, whether they're Legion farm pro players or just regular pro players or whatever the heck,
Getting shot at.
the movement has to be exceptionally speed. It cannot be here. That's not so yes, the aiming part is another thing,
I'm down.
but the movement cannot be like standstill movement. The game sense of swinging from angle to angle has to also come into play at some point, where you're not just walking in, because for this distance from here to here, doing this walk in like this means that if I peek you and flash you and I go into cover, you're gonna have quite literally 0.5 seconds to dish out any damage, after which you will be dead. So that's how people will end up punishing you all the time if you do that. But if you swing from cover to cover like this, now that's different. Now they have to react both to the speed of the slide and the direction. And if you learn to go from slide into shoot and then into strafing, like full crouch climb strafing, that's where you're gonna just actually kill people. Obviously, that's not as easy.
I don't do that enough, especially,
Do it almost never. It is actually
I do
incredibly
it,
rare.
you know, when I do it, when it happens accidentally and I'm like, oh cool.
Oh cool, it
You know?
happens. Yeah. But that has to come as a byproduct of your fundamentals to understand what is the difference between swinging that way versus swinging slow. So sometimes it is needed for you to just peek corners like this, good. But sometimes it's needed to swing into corners like this. And most of the time that doesn't happen. And that A slows you in fights. B makes you prone to just taking a shit ton of damage or just getting knocked straight away. And C, it makes you unable to keep at the same tempo as your teammates, because your teammates are swinging a good, like even a good client.
Let me try to shit on you.
Let's try then.
Ready?
Yeah, go.
I panicked!
You chose the wrong.
No!
Down an enemy.
Even this is significantly better than anything else. But this is not just on raid. Like, whether that's a raid or a block or a kibi, swinging
Again,
is just the fundamental of the game. It's nothing to do with any abilities. There's characters that obviously have enhanced strafe speed, like Octane and Bloodhound. But for those, nothing changes. I will still swing into you with Octane in the same way. Like in the exact same way I will stand up swing on you. Because ultimately, if I just stand like this, even though I'm steaming, if I'm just walking like this, I mean, that doesn't make me very predictable. I'm moving fast, but I'm still like a standstill target moving in a straight direction. That doesn't make me evasive in any way. So that's something that you're gonna have to work on a lot. You can change your binds if you want. Like my binds are different, so for me it's
I have my
easier.
I have my sprint on shift and my crouch on control, and I think if I change this and put my crouch on shift is pretty much easier to reach for me than control with my little finger. Like, I use it always, but I used to always, all lifelong, crouch on control. So maybe if I, instead of shift,
I mean, I use the same thing. I use crouch and control, but that doesn't actually make me unable to use that. I mean, at the end of the day, this is just like the way your hand is placed on the keyboard. It's up to you. As long as you have access to the buttons that you need and your binds are at the places that you need them. For me, I've changed my binds to suit me because my hand is not very big. If my hand was really big, I would probably have different binds, but my hand is like, what, 18 centimeters or something maximum? 17 and 17.8 maybe. So my hand is not big in terms of length. So your hand length is pretty much for each 10 centimeters of your body height, there is 1 centimeter of hand length. It's not a strict number, but it's a general kind of number that ends up being that. Now,
so I'm gonna try to hit you with more movement, like sorry, it will probably not be aim, because I will try to move and aim while I'm like in more speed, like, but I will try to like slide, wall jump, or somehow direction change into you before I open when I engage on you, right? Like this is what I'm working on.
Yes.
Basically, like I start pushing you like this, just try to wall, try to not fuck up the wall bounce and get you, right?
There is no need to even wall bounce. Like simply.
But it's an example, yeah. If I like slide in around a corner like this,
Or you're
or
an
if
MK
I
player, you can also tap. Do this. This is also part of MK. Since they haven't removed it yet, you can use it to your best ability. Do you ever really tap strafe around corners when you're going around?
No, I'm not using tap strafe at all.
So
Like I unbounded.
Okay.
I unbounded.
So you can imagine how limited your movement is.
Exactly. So if I refuse to bind tap strafe for now, let's say, like I'm finding excuses since 2 seasons
So what is
why
bound?
I don't
So
bind tap.
what is bound on tap strafe then? If tap strafe is unbound, what do you switch weapons with?
If I tell you, you will laugh at me, bro.
You switch weapons with scroll or what?
Only one, like mouse wheel up is jumping and mouse wheel down is weapon switch.
Oh.
And I do it mid-fight, like I scroll wheel weapon switch before my gun is empty. That's why I weapon switch pretty fast, because I'm moving in. I don't need to press a button for weapon switch. I just scroll wheel while I can move and shoot. That makes it faster for me to switch gun in fight. But if I, on top of that, refuse to use tap strafe, it is much more necessary, at least until I want to change the button and get used to it, to do what you just said, right? If I skip tap strafe for now, I need to work much more on strafe movement and stuff, right? And sliding in and stuff.
Well, if you want my honest opinion, you should not at all have weapon switch on scroll because that's incredibly clunky. That should be on either 1-2, on Q and E, on any other buttons that you might want. Definitely not on any.
If I change it right now, it will affect my gameplay so much, right?
I mean, would you really say
I
that
would
your
leave like
would you really say that your gameplay right now is incredibly good, so that you're losing a lot? Because right now, at the
I
very
would
least,
lose much more because I tried it for a few days. Like I was doing tap strafes. I had it bound to my mouse wheel, but I found myself several times in situations in a fight where I wasn't able to press my button number 2 for my secondary gun fast enough. Like I died for it several times because of I have a new binding that I'm unable to switchly remember. And if I don't know, like I can do it, but I'm so scared that it will take me 2 weeks where I'm losing every single 1v1. Like because of I don't have a secondary gun in this moment.
I mean, like I said, there's nothing that I can teach. If somebody's fixed on what they feel like is their best thing, then that's fine. That is what is better, and then there is what is worse. There is no, like, I can't say scroll is wrong. I'm saying that scroll is clunkier and therefore much more difficult to be clean and like polished in terms of your gameplay with. If somebody is incredibly good at it, that doesn't mean that it's impossible to use it. For the average person, this would mean that they're simply putting themselves with clunky binds and losing fights for that reason. I already explained
I'm really using it so much, like I do it, I don't know.
Like currently when I'm watching you, your weapon switches are incredibly slow. So it doesn't mean that your scroll does not actually make it so that you're fast. On top of that...
You mean weapon switch? I can switch fast.
No, what I mean is when you're fighting, it takes you long. So I already explained to you the mechanic that when you crouch down and you go for a weapon switch, you remove the animation when you crouch into it. I already explained that to you. So ultimately, you not using crouch plus also using the scroll means that you quite literally never switch quickly your weapon.
What do you mean? There's no animation when I crouch.
So when you shoot and then you crouch. So here, I'll share my screen because this is something that Not everybody knows. But also, at present, you won't actually be able to do it because of A, your binds, and B, the fact
It
that you've
sounds
already...
like something I did never hear about. Like,
So, look,
give me that information.
Can you see my screen?
I need that. I see you.
Oh, I'm sharing screen so that you can see my
Okay,
POV.
wait. Wait. Give me a second. I share also with my thingy. Yeah.
When you shoot and you crouch into a weapon switch, you cancel some of the animation. So this crouch into the gun cancels the animation. Okay?
Can you do it slower?
You cannot actually do it slower because you can't crouch any slower than this. Do you see how fast
You go
that is?
down up while you switch the gun. It's not only you go down while you switch, you go down up while you switch, right?
Well, you crouch and then you, as you go up, your gun will be up. It's a small crouch. It's not a hold crouch like this.
Yeah.
It's you. See? So ultimately.
Yeah. I did that once on accident.
Oh.
I did that once on accident, and actually I shot my gun before it was out.
Before it's out, exactly, because the animation
Yes.
cancels itself. So
exactly. Yes, that happened once on accident. I didn't know that was a thing.
And that is.
I recorded that as well. I recorded that because I was like, what the fuck happened here?
So that's actually.
Like, for real?
That's actually a mechanic that people don't really know about. And the fact that you're not aware of it is a handicap on its own. But also the fact that you never actually crouch spam and simply just like walk out.
I did not know this.
Means that
I know that you reload faster when you don't shoot the last bullet. But
yeah, that's one of the things. But
that's what I knew. Like if you keep the last bullet, you reload faster. But I did not know the crouch thingy. The fuck? I thought that was. I was thinking, what type of bug was that?
That's not a bug. That's an it actually used to be 10 times faster. This thing used to be even faster than this. Like literally 2 or 3 times faster. Except they nerfed it significantly. The same way they nerfed b-hopping. They nerfed b-hopping so much that essentially now you have to just do like very small b-hops with the heels rather than the big ones. Because you used to be able to b-hop at this speed with heels long ago. But yeah, something that you're gonna have to do is that no matter what, no matter what, at present your skirmishing capabilities are at too low a level to compare to most faster players. Because if you go into fight with them, one or two things happen. Either you get beamed or you trade equal damage. But that's not how it's supposed to be. If that is the case, then that ends up being a downside.
Let's explore this way.
Somebody is to call themselves a like pro player or like Apex Legends player for a living. That means that their mechanical skill, including their space, has to be able to overwhelm other people. It cannot just be like barely capable of winning. It has to be confident enough that if you go into a fight, 19 out of 20 times, you're the one emerging with a clear kill and probably only losing half your HP. That's the only way that you can do that, is good movement and good aiming. But your movement right now is at like a 1 out of 10. Like when you're strafing.
I know I don't have movement.
Yes, but you can't simply.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, you can't simply play with the lack of movement.
That's why it's good what we are doing right now.
The positioning is one thing, but the movement while fighting is another. And then there is the decision making between the positioning and then the time that you're gonna have to move to evade bullets. That is the third decision making game sense. That is what it comes down to. These three fundamentals is what you need to work a lot on, because nothing else in the game matters if those three are at the at the low level. And even someone with high level of those but shit aiming will win that just because they have the ability to dodge bullets move well, and even land a little bit of damage over time. But since you're also not hitting them, but you're super predictable, their ability to land damage, even though they're bad at shooting, enhances significantly. Because they're shooting at a target that is very predictable. If you're shooting at, like, the Kovacs target, for example, and it's moving erratically, obviously you're landing less accuracy. The same thing applies to just in the in-game. So that's what you have to work on the most, by far. Otherwise, you're simply not going to be able to come up against other good players. Regardless if it's me, if it's another aspirant, if it's another master player, so on.
I'm pretty much equal with other aspirants. We're trading pretty much 50-50. But it's a different thing when I'm playing, for example, I think I did the skill test with without Sprit. Like, he was shitting on me. No doubt at all. Like, he was definitely shitting on me. I think I got him 2 times, maybe.
Exactly.
And that was when all of my wingman bullets hit. And that was probably more luck than, you know.
Well, let's try play some 1v1s here and see how we can do. But ultimately,
yeah, please.
There is a lot to work on in terms of that. Ready, go.
Yeah.
Let's go this way.
No, I have tearing on my screen again. And I fucked up already.
That the new GPU?
No, I don't have a new GPU. I'm still with a broken one.
Ready, go.
Making contact with enemy. Enemy down.
Ready,
Contact
go.
with enemy. Watching here.
So close, man. I beamed the shit out of you with my R9.
True. Alright. Ready, go.
Contact with target.
Oh my gosh.
I'm taking shots. I downed an enemy.
I'm so much panicking, like...
Ready, go. Yes, I go
yeah.
that side. Ready, go.
Hostile close.
What am I hitting on flash?
You hit the target dummy. Well, it's like this thing probably.
Listen, let's move here.
One of those. Maybe one very far there.
Possible. Ready, go.
Contact with hostile. Enemy down.
I shouldn't open with the wingman.
You can open with any gun you like. Both are your guns.
Yeah, only if I hit.
Alright. Ready, go.
Contact.
Alright. Ready, go.
Contact. Taking shots.
Oh, one shot!
I downed an enemy.
Ready, go.
Contact. Taking shots.
I cannot even move! I cannot even move.
Okay. Ready, go.
Hostile close.
What do you mean you can't move?
I'm death sweating when you shoot me.
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you try to run while getting hit by a wingman, then it can dead slide you. Ready, go.
Hipfire wingman is just ass.
We should go here. Enemy down.
I mean, I use it quite sometimes. It seems to work for me.
Not when you're panicking and praying that something hits. Then it doesn't work.
pretty good.
Ah!
Or like, I don't know, with like 15 or something.
I never play that.
Go. Which one do you play?
And I mean, to slide out and stuff. I'm trying to slide on you and shoot you while direction changing.
Which one do you play? Which one do you like to play?
Like, I used to play like the most hardest like right straight in the open. Like I barely practiced ever 1v1s with like
Cover.
like yeah, like I did it on the old firing range before they removed this ship here. Like before it came, there was a ship here, and there was like one rock, one like this thingy. Yeah, and there was like something of the same was here, and like most likely we played here. We have like one head clip here. You can like fight around this small rock, jump on it, fight around. Like we always used this little thing.
Well,
And then they changed the firing range. Then this big ship here came. This is gone now. And since that time, I was forced to like either slide out here, like literally from the big rock to the side. But I barely played like on this head glitch because I don't really like to do it, and like pushing each other here on this. I did never practice it a lot at all.
Well, this is a straight up
Maybe something this
1v1
way.
with a single piece of cover in front of you, and that's it. And then you choose any way you like, but it's mostly just a mechanical skill about movement and your aim. There is not so much about like insane cover play. You can use anything around it to your like advantage with like movement and whatnot. But ultimately, it comes down to like someone's ability to shoot while someone is moving around the cover. That's all that it is. That's all that it is in this one.
Yeah, exactly. I need to practice that. Good.
Well, this thing needs to be,
Let's go this way.
at the very least, at a level where you're able to sort of find yourself in the fight and dish out a significant amount of damage. Because if that's not the case here, how can you swing out on people when you can't swing out
Let's
on people
explore
here?
this way.
Like, how can you go and challenge people in Masters on their angles like this if you can't do it on this one? Because there's literally
I'm probably peeking angles like this then.
yeah, exactly.
Like
That's the way.
Exactly.
That's the way that you play the game. You simply just peek
Exactly.
angles and that's it. But you're saying
Exactly.
that you want to learn raid, except that's not what a raid does. A raid does not just go around and just peek angles, like shoop, then go and hide, and then like do a little.
No, a wraith is more like doing this. What you just.
Yeah.
Especially if you see a fucking cracked wraith in front of you,
Yeah.
this is what happens to you.
Yeah,
Like
that's what happens to you, but that's because that's why
Exactly.
those are called cracked raids, because they're playing aggressive raids and they're forcing
on
you.
your aggressive crack movement as well. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there is no defensive third position raid. If that is the raid that you have, then you might as well just basically play another character, because there's no point.
Nah.
Why would you have a character?
I like to be close, but
Yeah.
I don't like when they push me like that. Like when they come, like if you do, like it's literally a thing we need to practice. I think it's really good that we are doing this, because what you can do to shake me off one thing is you can push me super aggressively into my face, because when anyone does this, like anyone who knows that I can't handle that, if anyone watches my stream, finds me in game, can kill me super easy by just pushing in my face, not giving me any space. I will be super dead. Anyone doing that, any good player doing that, any bad player doing that, I will be whiffing so much because I'm panicking, spray praying. What I need to learn in this situation when I'm getting pushed like a brain dead monkey, I need to take a deep breath, not think about dying, and just shoot my gun and hit all my shots, or all my possible shots, you know?
Well, I don't want to be rude,
Right?
but other people don't really have that much of a problem with that. I mean, not everybody is able to do that, but at the very
Why are
least,
you black?
I don't know.
You are completely black.
That's kind of racist. What is wrong with you? But yeah, ultimately, like, how to put it? You can say that you're on par with other aspirants, but for example, I played 1v1s with Dictator, and he's able to do what I'm doing to me, and I have to react to it. and he can do
I
all
played with Cloudy a lot of 1v1s.
I
He's
don't know
pretty strong.
I don't know who that is.
Cloudy is like pretty strong player. He's pretty good. He's aspirant, and they would like him to be pro already. Like he's a pretty decent player, super good aim and decision making and movement and positioning as well. Like he's really good. And I'm not gonna lie, I need probably 20 minutes 1v1s with Cloudy until we are shitting on each other. But he's definitely dominating against me, but it's not as bad as if I play against you or without Sprit. Like I think I can get you sometimes, at least super weak. When I played without Sprit, I literally wasn't even able to, like, maybe I cracked him, or once I got him down to 50 HP, but
Well, that's pretty much what was the case here.
his aim is, like, super intense, like...
That's because your strafes are super easy to hit. Like, he is on
Even
controller.
for him, he's on controller, and even as a controller player, he can hit super easy.
Oh,
Exactly.
I mean, Sprit is a good controller player, so him
Yeah.
being a good controller player against someone who can't strafe at all means that every
Yeah.
time he beams, he's hitting 200s, and that's it.
Exactly.
Because-
Even if he just shoot me with his wingman, I was just dead. It's just
Yes, because all he has
he
to do,
shit on me so easy.
all he has to do is just move left to right 2 times.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's all your strafes. Like it's just left and right. So
Exactly.
if he knows that, he can't miss. He knows that you're going left and then you're going into right. You never
Exactly.
do long strafes
Super
into a short into another
predictable.
long. That's what throws people off. But even then, simply being able to move is not enough. Being able to move while shooting is what's like required. That's what mechanical skill is. So therefore, there's no way to play aggressively if the comfortability of being able to move quickly, push into people's faces and shoot, and also being pushed into your face and being able to win those fights. If that is at a low level and everybody can kill you,
Yeah.
I mean, then how can someone carry other players if that fundamental is weak? That is something that you have to work on a lot. Even if it's not here, in games, you can't simply, like, how to put it, for a long time.
Stand like this, like a bot, because I'm panicking and want to hit my shots instead of dodging bullets from them with. Yeah, exactly.
What is panicking? Like panicking is
It's a different. Yeah.
Yeah, like panicking.
Like
is
panicking when we are in the turbine fight, and I'm panicking to not have the right position on time, is like resulting in me running in stupid position, dying like a stupid chicken for a bad decision making, because instead of deciding, finding my spot, I take the spot of my teammate. And it's dumb.
Oh.
And panicking when you push me in my face is because I'm probably most likely not in cover when you're in my face, so all I can do is taking a breath and shoot at you.
Well, yes, but this game is not just about like playing from cover to cover. This game is not CS:GO, I guess, because CS:GO is a slow game where you play from cover to cover. You don't ever stand in
So
the
I can
open.
leave my cover, I don't have to focus it all the time as long as I dodge my bullets.
Yes, of course, because a lot of the time I challenge people with no actual cover between us, except that's
Okay.
where movement comes
Okay.
into play. And so when movement comes into play, I dodge
Yeah,
the
that's the
bullets
point, because
that the cover would have absorbed from me. So if I were to have like this cover,
Let's explore this
that
one.
would have
do
reduced.
you remember the situation with where you said my angle was very good? It was an Olympus map in ranked when we were chasing this. It was at Estates in the open with this white rock.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you guys, where you said like I had the perfect angle? Why did you leave it? You remember that? When I was like not helping, when you went to push that guy, I was far for a long time, and before that, his team was standing in a corner. One grenade would have stuck the whole team. Then the Wraith portaled out. We looked on that because you said like I was looking on her. I was like, oh yeah, she has a pretty good angle. That's
were on
actually
Gibi,
decent,
or
good
what?
idea. I was maybe on Gibi. I don't know on who I was.
Irrelevant. So in any case,
It was a good angle, and I was like going to cover, and you said, yeah, okay, she took the cover, and later we figured out that if I would have like just moved in the open with you instead of staying on cover, it would have been better in this situation.
well, so in a lot of situations,
So
every situation
in
is different,
many
right?
situations,
There are three
I do
steps
not have to focus on being all the time on cover, because this is what Babalov said to me. He said to me, whenever you move, you need always to move from cover to cover. You need, when you start moving here, you need to know where the next cover is. You need to know if the cover is here or here or here, and you need to instantly go from here to here. Then you need to go from here to here. Then you need to go like from here to here. I'm death sliding right now when I try to prove it, but like exactly, why am I sliding so slow? Like,
Oh yes,
from this cover to this, from this to this, and actually never stand in the open, shoot like this. Like, always go to your cover, shoot from there. And this is what I really try to focus a lot on, because when I played for a long time Wraith, I had the luxury that I can stand anywhere and just take any damage I want. If it's like, if nothing happens, we are running around and I'm not on cover and the team comes up, I can queue back to my team and we regroup somewhere. It's a luxury thing, but it doesn't have to be like this.
That's not actually a luxury. That's called a crutch. That's called.
Okay, then it's maybe a bad use of this.
That's called an oh shit button. I have shit positioning.
Oh shit button.
Yeah, I have a shit positioning. Oh shit, I'm in the open. Oh shit, I used my button. There we go. So
Exactly. But no one else could do that. So focusing on moving from cover to cover is necessary, but not like every single time. When you see there's a good option to move in the open and
so there are three
it
stages
saves you
of
time,
a fight.
you should do it.
So there are three stages of a fight, right? There is the stages of fight where you're trading damage and looking for like entry damage and knocks. Then there is the stage where after you've done that, you push in to try to confirm those, to confirm the knocks with that damage that you did. So you crack someone for 150, you push up. But the issue is that Wraith actually oftentimes has to work backwards. She has to get closer to have a higher chance to get an actual knock for a big amount of damage. You don't really want to play at a distance when you can get close, and what that allows is for your teammate.
I'm so good in sneaking around and silently walking up in them. Like, but I do it literally like a bot. Like, I will not use shift and run fast up with sliding. I will like go around like slow and surely as fast as I can. See if I can like stick one, beam one, and crack another. Probably not take damage, but if I'm getting cracked and pushed, then maybe backing up to a better position where my fraggers are. My support legends either try to hold and I pop a bat and come back, but I have to never go down and I need to knock at least one guy and maybe crack one more or two.
What is referred to as space from Wraith is referred to as when the Wraith gets close, she becomes a too close and too immediate threat for other people, like to simply stand and shoot at someone at a distance. If somebody is standing at this head glitch here, and then the enemy teammates are here and here, but then the Wraith gets all the way up here, this guy cannot simply stand all the way there on the head glitch and shoot at these people, because the next thing that will happen in the blast kills them and then slides down, and then if somebody chases, then she just goes out, and she can do whatever from there. Like, she can just stall for them to get close now, and then that is what is referred to as entry frag. That's usually what we would call entry frag. But that is something that Wraith does much more than other characters, because her ability to fight in close range and win it is decided by her hitbox, B, her ability to queue out of the fight, and C, by the fact that just in general she's more short than other characters. So she.
Oh, do you know crouches, that they removed low profile on Wraith on any legend?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the low profile was never really that big of a deal. The reason that Wraith is a good skirmisher is because when she crouches and strafes, her center of her body, her head keeps going down very rapidly, up and down. and she's already crouched as it is, kind of, when she's moving around. So when that happens, she becomes a really small target, like actually small target. In comparison, the Gibby is like twice her size. Essentially, his hitbox is like twice the size. Gibby works with different things. He works with the utility, the bubble, and he works with the cover more. And when he has to fight, he's chunkier, so he doesn't. He will take more damage, but he will also be able to hold, like tank it more. Raid can't really tank it. She has to be evasive. She has to be hard to hit, and she has to be able to win the fight quickly or disengage from the fight quickly. It cannot be like the fight cannot take.
She's useless if she cannot pull any damage when she disengages. Then she's absolutely useless.
Exactly. So
what does she do for her team then? Nothing.
If somebody makes a lot of mistakes on raid or loses a lot of fights on raid because he goes close range.
I think when Wraith fucked up the entry damage, you don't even need to start to take the fight anymore because it's too late to.
Well, now you're fighting a defensive fight because you're no longer, like, your raid has to queue out, and now you're holding for her.
And then she has to heal, and you have to hold for her, and the fight is fucked because the enemies know where you are, and it's already, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And it destroys to pick the whole fight. Like, you can lose it, or you have to disengage.
These risks that she takes are justified because of the fact that if she gets an advantage, it's a big advantage.
Exactly.
Simply saying that, oh, I mean, then just don't go in, doesn't really work, because if nobody goes in, then who is gonna be the one to make the entry?
Exactly.
Like, there's no person going close unless the enemy white peeks and just gets blasted to death. No one will ever get any knocks because for the entire time it will be just people standing on cover shooting at other people standing behind cover.
Exactly.
Raid is the one that
until somebody makes a lucky shot,
well, until someone makes a big mistake where they overpeak and just get blasted to death. And the better the players, the less likely that is to happen. However, Raid accelerates that to the point where it's no longer a trade-off of just like walking from cover to cover and shooting. She's able to just go all the way close to them and create an advantage by fighting a really close range fight where she's able to get a knock and then get out of it before she's refragged. That's why Raid is like still even used at all. There is no necessarily a need for the Raid to be used all the time. Like, that's not a mandatory character, but that's her use in fights. If a team is not able to do it without her, then they need a Raid. If a team is good at just playing angles, like I don't know, like a Pathfinder, Loba, Octane, and they just keep switching angles and just keep like pressuring from different places until they push up, that also works. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work at all. But the old style that the game was played was that the raid was the anti-fragger and the other two were support. If the raid makes space, they push forward. If the raid loses or has to leave the fight because she got caught in like can happen anything, like you can just get absolutely beamed the moment that you slide even 1 meter of cover, and then you have to queue out. I mean, that's fine. Then you just simply hold for her, because if the enemy tries to push, then she essentially acted as a bait, because now they're pushing into the open and they're also taking damage. And that's basically it. That's just what actually has to happen. Now, that's just simply raid.
We got hosted, Darken. Actually, 28 viewers are watching us from Desertuk.
Hi, Pog.
We got raided.
So when that is the case, you're going to have to learn not to just do it with just raid, because raid is just another character that's irrelevant. Like, it's not like I play the game just because like raid exists. There's so many characters that are so strong as long as they're used properly. Unfortunately, learning the game backwards, where someone learns to fight close range and make space before they learn positioning on support characters, is actually harder, especially when someone is not very, how to put it, confident and composed when that happens. Like you said, you panic and like you get anxious and you start like running like a chicken. When that is the case, then there is
this happens every time when I'm losing control over the fight. Like, as long as I have control, I'm not like this. And control I have only when I'm able to do damage. This team in Turbine, I wasn't able to properly do damage on them. I had a first too far position, right? And then I had a position that was so close to my team, even I didn't even scan, okay, even that, but a position that was so close to my team that it more brought me in danger than in efficient damage, right? And
Yes.
this is the moment when you have no control and when you start panicking because you are not able to deal damage. You know if you don't do damage, you're dead. Your team dies.
Well, for me, I've
So-
never had an issue of panicking because, I mean, what's there to panic about? It's a fight. You shoot, either you win or they win. There's not much more to it. It's kind of that.
Yeah, but I want to win it.
Well, yes, but panicking before you've even like had to fight means that you've already lost. Like that's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Does not
That
work.
was what happened in Turbine when
And
I lost the fight before I took the bad position when I already lost any control over the situation.
fortunately, at present, the higher the EO that you play at, the more likely it is that you're not gonna have control. At least that's what you refer to as control. To me, it's just I just pay attention to the tide of the fight. If you have an advantage, you press on it. If you have at a disadvantage, you defend yourself and punish them for being aggressive carelessly. If they're not aggressive carelessly, then you simply just take the fight in the circumstances that it is. Sometimes people will just play it correctly, and you're just gonna have to out-aim them. There's no other way around it, because sometimes people are just gonna play it without making a lot of mistakes that you can punish. And you are fighting at a disadvantage, but that doesn't mean that like you cannot win it. Playing well will essentially allow for some chance to win the fight. That chance will depend on how well you fight at the moment of the push. Now, let's play some 1v1s, but there is no way for me to fix panicking, because panicking is an emotional thing. Like, emotions are not fixable. That's something that the person themselves has to figure out, because that's not something that any coach can coach. Emotions are not a tangible gaming skill.
Just pressure me a lot, so I learned to
Let's go
deal
here.
it.
Let's play 1v1.
I learned to deal and counter it.
I
Oh, wait a
need
second.
to get ammo, actually. I don't have ammo.
Give me a sec, yeah. Ah, 1 second. I'm grabbing it quick, yeah?
I can hear.
Like in 1 minute. This is what we are doing right now. Really not, especially the precise explication about, like, for example, that I'm not using crouch spam enough, and especially like the predictable strafes.
Oh yeah,
Like,
but I would have
also
thought
like this sliding around corners, like I really have to do it much more. I have to do it probably every single time when I'm engaging on someone.
so up until
And
now, essentially the way that you've been playing the game is just for fun.
it's just like a battlefield player standing
Yeah,
straight, not being able to do anything, like running out with the gun,
Pretty much,
all
yeah.
the time. Like, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I
agree. Like a
I can
fucking
put
bot. This is why people ask me if I'm controller, because I move like a bot. I can shoot my gun many times. I have maybe a little bit of game sense, decision making, rotation stuff, but like my movement is per ass.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So up until now you played the game for fun, but if you truly want to like get somewhere, then you have to play the game not so much for fun, but to understand what you're doing wrong. Because every time you notice what you're doing wrong, it basically makes a mental note. Like, okay, I made a mistake here, and then there, and there. Okay. So over time, your brain catches these mistakes before they actually happen. And when you start to notice that, that means that the game is running essentially. So when that is the case, you can actually beat people that are better.
Damn, that's sliding! Super gliding on me, nice one.
Let's go play one.
I should have won that so much.
Maybe loot here.
So we play. Okay.
Can I restart my game real quick? Like, it's so much laggy. I don't know if it's the game or my monitor or something. Give me a second.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind.
Green tearing as well for some reason. I don't know why. Bit annoying. I don't think if I turn on this thingy that my monitor has for the freezing that this makes something better. I will not do that. Just restart game.
Sure. I'm in practice range. Oh, not in practice range. I'm in lobby.
I'm here.
Oh shit. Yeah. So yeah. Now that you have established that you're playing the game not the way that you would want to, now you have to actually consciously think about every move. Because every single decision in this game matters so much more. This is not Battlefields. There are no people running with their gun out and shooting at the ceiling. And also,
like a bot.
yeah, this is different. I know Battlefield is like pretty much one of the most casual FPS games. So
yeah, it's
this
pretty
one,
much a bot game.
yeah, it's literally like playing as the AI. But in this game, even a semi-decent controller player at like master level can dish out enough damage that he's a threat. And the only way to minimize that is with good positioning and good movement. And even movement sometimes is simply just not enough. Just being good at movement is not enough. Being able to play fast, the way I'm like trying to make you play, is the only way to have some form of an advantage. Because if you're peeking into them the way you're peeking, like you were explaining, you're at inherently disadvantage. Like you're inherently at disadvantage. They have aim assist, you do not. If you miss your shots, you miss your shots. If they do, aim assist will compensate a portion of it. and you don't have the luxury to do that. What you have as a luxury is significantly better ability to maneuver around and significantly better ability to move more unpredictably, which they also do.
Standard stock? No, right?
No, just light mag, heavy mag, and HCOP. And that's pretty much the difference. Like, you're not.
Also, when I'm looting boxes, you know that I loot them most likely just crouch spamming. It looks like I'm teabagging the box of my opponent, but I'm too lazy, or like I'm not pressing AD when I'm looting a box. That I only press AD when I'm on a Loba shop. When I loot a box, I press crouch, 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 crouch all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That doesn't really make you very unpredictable.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You're an MNK player. You're gonna have to use the entire skill set of MNK. It just doesn't work to.
Doesn't work to play controller on MNK.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work to play controller on MNK. You're gonna have to actually play the MNK on the MNK. Alright, let's do here.
Looking for some loot here.
Okay.
I only played this side and you only played that side, okay? Ready, go.
Okay, so we don't push each other.
You push me.
Oh, I paid them. Okay.
Oh, we're
Enemy
playing.
down.
Okay, I didn't know you were flatline.
I thought I can play what can I want.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's
But it was super bad anyway.
it's crutch, but let's try it. Ready, go.
I cracked you at least.
Yeah,
I need
but
to take more time, like I'm rushing too much into it. And when I rush into it, I spray pray too much. Let me do it again. Let me take my time to fuck you up.
Sure. You have yet to kill me, so let's try. Ready, go.
Like, why is it like... Can we go to EU servers at least?
We are. We're both on EU. We're both in EU, and we're playing in.
No,
NA.
we are in...
Yeah,
we are in
we're
NA
in
right now.
Virginia right now,
Okay.
but it doesn't
Okay.
actually make any difference. We can go to you if you want, but you're not dying because you're getting killed by ping. This is
But
just-
I'm rubber banding as well. Like, I'm going forwards and backwards. I put my gun out and it's back in again.
Oh, sure, but you do realize you're gonna be playing with a lot of NA clients and on NA servers, right? I don't think I remember the last time I've had an EU session.
Okay, but maybe I need to restart my PC or something, because like it's really lagging. Like really, I'm also like moving partwise forwards and backwards. Like
Okay, let's try on EU servers. Let's see if that works. To me, it doesn't really matter, but the realistic conditions is that you're likely gonna be playing a lot of NA.
I play a lot of NA.
So that one will be like. Okay, let me switch my server.
You can join. Oh, okay. You can also join on me. I'm on Frankfurt right now. Yeah, it's open.
Yeah, the server thing won't actually matter so much. It's the ability to like be unpredictable while pushing fights. We're using raid for the sake of raid, but this is a skill that doesn't exist specifically for raid. This has to be even better on other characters because like the other characters risk more doing that, but raid has the ability to kind of nullify the risk if you use the ability. Other characters do not. If you get punished for it, you're getting punished twice more. Therefore, being better at that is even more important on other characters than it is on I have enough.
Still screen tearing, like it's cutting in half on my screen. Literally like a videotape. I shouldn't do that. Oh, now it's gone. Okay. Whatever. Secondary gun.
Also, guns like 301 and Flatline are what are referred to as the easiest guns because they're even if you miss a bunch of your bullets, it doesn't really matter so much. So that's why, like, people play them not because they of anything else, but because their experience with the gun is that they do a lot better. But there's a good reason. They can
It's easier
afford
to
to
play.
whiff. I don't know, 66% of their shots, and they're still gonna do some formidable amount of damage, like 150, 200. If you miss 66% of your auto shots,
How I'm like, did you see me lagging? I have I restart like everything. I don't know. I'm literally, even if I'm not sure, walking on the place. Let me restart my PC, my router, or whatever it is. Okay, I'm back. Like in, you saw that, Mumsy? Mumsy's just in stream. He saw it. Yeah, yeah.
I can't really see it, but sure, I can. So I back out to the lobby then, I guess.
Yeah, I come. Like, let me stop stream. I restart real quick.
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah.
I think my internet is on.
Oh, good.
The Discord opens before I can type my
Hello?
password. That's amazing. Hello,
Yeah.
I think my internet is on.
good.
Products,
Oh,
OBS. See. I think my RAM went too hot or something. It was cooking. Like it was really hot.
Holy.
I just like I have a machine that is like the air compressed air compressor.
Okay.
I just blew once through my whole PC case, like through the mainboard, graphic card, like the ventilators and stuff. And in this situation, I realized lots of hot air coming out of the PC, and I touched the RAM, and it was like cooking.
Jeez.
Makes sense. That I'm like not able to properly see. Let's see if this changes something.
You pulled it down?
I blew some air on it, but what should I do? I don't think, yeah, whatever. It actually, if the RAM is going to be too hot, how about like, I need a new one. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see, maybe I need a new RAM. I was thinking if that's the case, but not no. For sure there was tearing on the screen, but I turned off VSync, G-Sync stuff. Like,
Personally, I don't actually have any like G-Sync or G-Sync enabled, so
yeah, I have it off. It's all disabled. It's like all on native 240 Hz. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Tuck, tuck, I'm back. Are you sure if I have a G-Sync and V-Sync and stuff monitor that it's better to turn all this off? Is it not better to use it?
I don't have any of these enabled personally. Like,
But do you have a G-Sync monitor?
yeah. Like, let me see. Oh, my G-Sync is not enabled. None of that. The only thing that's enabled is the fixed refresh rate and
From the monitor?
yeah, that's it. And the fixed refresh rate is the only thing that you really need.
You mean the graphic card setting, refresh rate?
Or in the control panel, like the refresh rate.
Yeah. That's where I have it on 240, but there's also the option like you can use G-Sync or V-Sync, like adaptive sync from the monitor.
Yes.
But if you do that, you don't have the 240 Hz because it's somehow synchronizing with the refresh rate from the
Lower monitor.
Yeah.
That used to be a bug, but
exactly.
it no longer is. I talked to Index, and Index knows a lot about computers, and he says that's no longer a thing as long as you set it up properly. It no longer is the thing. It's fixed like 1.5 years ago. It was fixed.
What was fixed?
Like this issue where it defaults to the lower refresh rate rather than the higher one.
Like I'm not. Now I'm confused. Wait, if I.
That was a bug. That defaulting to lower monitor refresh rate was a bug. Okay, that was not intended.
No, I'm talking about now, not from like the monitor is new and everything is new. So
yeah, that doesn't matter. They fixed the bug. It was something that had to do with the graphics card. Basically, display settings. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but there was tearing, and the G-Sync is against this tearing. So let me see what changes if I turn that on. Maybe.
Personally, I don't know. You said you have a faulty graphics card. That cannot be fixed by any settings if it's a faulty
It must be
unit.
faulty graphics card, but if it's tearing, it can be a screen setting. And I turned off G-Sync. It was on before because I made a G-Sync monitor. Maybe let's see what happens if I turn it on. Let me see. I don't know if that changes something. I turn it on now. G-Sync compatible display connected. Click here to view configure. Blah blah blah. Okay. Enable for window and full screen mode. Applicate. Okay. Everything else. Refresh rate is 240 still. Desktop size and position is the same than before. It still performs scaling on GPU. Resolution is also the same. It's all the same. Now it's just with G-Sync. Let's see if that changes something. Because I literally had tearing on the screen like from an old videotape.
Okay.
Like these lines on the screen that come up.
That one could be a faulty unit because that I don't think.
That's what is called tearing. Yeah, exactly. That's what is called tearing, and that only happens if the refresh rate is higher than what the monitor can do. But that would mean that I'm getting more than 240 FPS and it can't show it. But that's not possible because I capped it on 240. So something weird, right?
Like a graphics card, like did you cap it in control panel or you cap it in
Yeah,
Apex
yeah.
settings?
In control panel and in Apex settings, both.
Why is it happening now? Like what?
It happened also before sometimes. I said it also. Sometimes I had this weird thing, screen tearing. But now it came up since I turned off the G-Sync, of course. And that I turned off because, like, I think you said it's going to be delayed and stuff and not good. So I turned it off. But maybe it's just better to have it on if it is no screen tearing, right? Let's see what happens now. I'm in your lobby.
Come here.
Chat says if you can hit good FPS, you don't need G-Sync. Like stable FPS, you will get smoother image on G-Sync if your FPS dropping. Okay, I see, Wutang. Thanks for that. But what does the G-Sync do with my screen tearing? Like if I have screen tearing when G-Sync is off, what does it change then, Wutang? If you can tell me.
Wait, tell me again? G-Sync? Wait,
And I was just
asking
to. I was just reading my chat. Chat says, if you can hit good FPS, you don't need G-Sync. Like stable FPS, you will get smoother image on G-Sync if your FPS are dropping. So now I'm having 240. It's still smooth. It's still 240. Nothing changed. What the actual fuck? Yeah, it's 240. G-Sync is on.
Actually, I think we have to leave. I think I might be on Virginia again because I just joined you last time. So let me switch here.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we're on. Running again. The technical side, that is difficult to fix because that would require research on your end. But even
doing that
even with a lot of research, there's no guarantee that your party leader quit.
Oh, wait, I have a weird gray notification as well. Do I have to restart everything again, or what is happening?
It works. I'm in.
Weird.
But even if you do a lot of research, it doesn't mean that if your unit is faulty, you're gonna be able to do anything with it. Like, there's no way to just find it out. You can benchmark your graphics card and see if that causes, like, if that shows any faults in it, because that's usually what people do to check if the parts are working correctly. They just benchmark them. If something fails, then they notice the effect of that part failing.
Chat just say tearing happens when your FPS drop under your monitor hearts. Is that true? No, isn't it if it goes above? It's when it drops under.
When it drops under.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That's because when it drops under, your monitor is not being fed frames, so it's trying to stretch frames to cover for missing amount. That's what basically ends up being. So the monitor's refresh rate, essentially, because it's not like if you're not setting it to like a fluid refresh rate, you can put, like, if your stuff is really bad, then adaptive resolution FPS target, you can put that thing on. But
no, I have like that's ugly. That's like really annoying.
Yeah, that basically makes the game like more worse quality, but it
I don't think it's
tries to retain FPS. It's basically
it's not a game setting when there's screen tearing. It's not the game setting. It's the setting between the monitor and the graphic. Yeah.
Okay. Alright. You're on flatline and R9, I guess.
No, Wingman online.
Okay. Ready, go.
Hostile right here.
I'm lagging.
Enemy down.
There's no way I'm lagging. I'm just lagging. In the moment when I start moving, I'm lagging.
Is there a way to clip it
Fix
in
that?
any way? Because I can't tell what kind of lag that is. To me, you're looking normal. Like, to me, nothing is like.
Oh, now my recording stuff is off. Wait, let me give it one more try with restarting my PC. Maybe it's fixing it because I turned off the G-Sync now. Maybe it changes something. I fucking do not know. I'm restarting one more time and I'll be back. I'm sorry about it.
Oh, good.
I just polished my grapple.
You made the right choice this time.
The body corrodes, but a polished mind lives.
Okay, logging in.
You can test it probably without me. I'll just like play one control until you test out the lag, because you don't really need me to test if you're lagging or not.
Yeah, true.
I wouldn't also be able to.
I
do
mean,
anything.
I will not be able to fix it anyway if it's like lagging now.
If it's something,
Still,
yeah, exactly.
then-
If it's something that has to either do with the unit, or it has to
Mhm.
do with like the settings are also something that cannot be fixed right away, because you don't know specifically what the problem is.
Is yeah, and I already tried everything. Like it must be like faulty. Like it's also
Don't-
proofable on pictures. Like
The only thing that I can say is that the only way to test a unit, faulty unit, is to benchmark it. That's the only way.
yeah,
Yeah.
I already did a benchmark and it didn't show any problems up. I did that. I downloaded a free benchmark tool. I can't say which one.
Should use poor mark. I can do free benchmark.
I can try again and see what happens. I can also try to change the RAM slot. It's like on A2 and B2. I can put it on A1 and B1 and see if it changes something. But I think it's better when it's in the second than in the first position. So yeah.
And I wouldn't know. I'm not 100% sure it's gonna make that massive of a difference.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference, like putting the RAM in the first slot, like A1 and B1 is a different, like you cannot put one RAM in A2 and one RAM in B1. They will not cooperate with each other. They have to be like in slot A1 and B1 or in slot A2 and B2. Like there has to be a free space between them.
How much RAM?
32 GB. 32 gigabyte. Let's try it. Let's go.
Throwing frag. Belongs to us.
Let's go. Now my chat is back as well. I'm in lobby, I'm waiting. Like, there is nothing I can do if it's still lagging now. The only thing I can do is like turning off
Is it
G-Sync
lagging?
again. But I don't know. Like, I was in parry range for 1 second shooting. It wasn't lagging, but I can't say if it's lagging like 10 seconds later. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna deal with it and see. I guess.
How did it trigger it? Doesn't trigger on it all like regular. What is it?
I don't know. I'm not a technician. Like, people could see it on my stream. People could see it on the stream, so I'm not tripping.
So it's something that
Like,
is. Can you send me like the moment that it happened like on stream, so maybe I can look at it and see if there's any indicators of what it's causing. If you find a timestamp when it happened, you can probably do something.
I need to check things.
Our teammates' killers have been pinpointed. Healing. Throwing frag. Unacceptable. Our zone. Frag out. The strong have over.
Zone C has been captured.
Go us! We got a zone.
Get in. Let's find the best road. I'm out of here.
Attention. The radio
Not so fast. Time to find. Pinpointed our team's killers. Don't let them escape.
Neutralize the zone.
Yeah, I can clip it and I send you the clip in a second.
Good.
Focus on the threat.
Repairing my damages.
Patching myself up.
Pinpointed our squad. Repairing damage. Throwing frag. Frag out. A face tear. Use it.